This channel supports Extra Life in its efforts to raise money for the Children's Miracle Network. For more information about how to donate and join in their efforts, go to the link displayed here. Extra Life. Play games, heal kids. What up, everybody? This is your boy BlackMegas back with another Star Wars video. 17 days of Star Wars. We're moving along here. By the way, I'm going to be watching the movies this week because I really want to catch up and give my thoughts on all 6 movies. So I got them ready. Suffered through the first 3. I'm trying to be more optimistic about the first 3. It's been a while since I've seen them. I probably forgot a lot of stuff, and damn, I just shook the hell out of this microphone. Good lord. Anyway, let me move it out of the way a little bit more. Sorry if the volume falls off a little bit, but I don't want to, like, my Jedi hand gestures to fucking knock it over or some shit like that. Anyway, but yeah, I probably forgot enough to where I might watch them and actually have a better impression of them, so stay tuned. Anyway, so just wanted to talk to you guys about one of the things about Star Wars that have always been cool, and that's the toys. Star Wars toys. I think no matter what movies, what property it was, there have been some amazing Star Wars toys. And hey, I'm a big kid, guys. Now I don't collect these things, but at the same time, I remember when I was a young man, and I was really big into like the toys and collecting things. I had a huge passion for the Star Wars toys. Mind you, guys, I was young during the original trilogy, so I was a fiend for these Star Wars toys. One of the things I remember the most, though, about the Star Wars toys is they were so hard to find, and you really wanted to get certain things. Like, I remember when my nephew got the Millennium Falcon. So fucking jealous. I wanted that so bad because I'm a huge Han Solo fan. And I wanted, but he got it. We used to play with that all the time. I remember getting some of the action figures. I remember when they had the special edition figures that you had to kind of buy. I don't know if they still do this with toys. Please let me know. But there was a thing that they used to do with action figures back in the day where they would always have on the back of the card when they would list different characters. Like if you bought a villain, they'd have like a pictures of like some of the other villains that you could get. But always in the bottom corner, there was this one person that you can only get if you saved up your UPCs and you sent them in. And it was never necessarily a popular character, but it was like something that was in the movie, but it was rare. Like, I remember for a time, what's his name? I can never say his name. But in Return of the Jedi, the sidekick for Lando, I think he was a special order character at one point. You guys, please, if you're old enough to remember this, let me know if he was generally available in stores. If he was one of those guys that you had to special order. I do really believe that the Emperor's guards were a special order type of thing. You know, those guys that are in the red suits that stand at the door. They weren't necessarily purchasable at stores, if I can recall. Stuff like that. That's how they used to do that type of stuff, which was cool. It was kind of cool to me because it encouraged you to buy more toys, which as a kid, you don't care. You wanted to get as many Star Wars characters as you could. I never got Luke. I did have Han. I had Lando, but it's funny because they used to make different versions of these characters once they got to Return of the Jedi, especially because you know how like in original Star Wars New Hope, Luke was in his robe. So actually, now that I think of it, I did own Luke. I owned Jedi Luke in his speeder bike indoor costume, because that's what they used to do. So it's like you got Luke in his robes, but you could also get Luke in his X-Wing suit for the original trilogy. For Empire Strikes Back, you can get training Luke, and you can get Luke in his Hoth uniform, the ice, the Winter Soldier uniform as well. Same thing with Han. You had regular Han from the original movie. When it got to Empire Strikes Back, you had Han in his, cold weather gear. You know, that big coat with the fur hood. They had that Han. Return of the Jedi Han. They had Han in the ice. I think the ice was the ice one. Yeah, I think the ice one was a special order with Han in the carbonite. And then you had Han from Endor that you can get. Leia, they actually had like original New Hope Leia. You had Leia in her Hoth clothing. You had Leia in her Endor clothing, and probably to the chagrin of a lot of parents back then, they had Leia in her Jabba's palace uniform. The slinky bikini that kind of like made people like be all in the shock and awe that right now these days isn't that bad thing. They had that too. So you got a variety of the same characters. You also had like the side characters. They put out a lot of side characters. Ewoks. There was tons of Ewoks. I didn't have Wicket, but I had a couple of other Ewoks that showed up. Like that gray and white Ewok that they had. I had him. And then of course the vehicles. You can get an AT-AT. I wish I could have got an AT-AT. AT-AT. I think I only had a speeder as far as vehicles were concerned. Speeder. I think I had the skiff. I think I had one of the skiffs that came from Tatooine. But yeah, the toys were great. They're fucking great. And I'll go to the stores sometimes and I see the Star Wars stores and I'll be like, they're so great. Kind of wish I were a collector, because I would love to have all that stuff. The stuff would be great to have around, but I don't have the space or the money to pursue that hobby. I'm already into video games and computer hardware. I have enough expensive hobbies. I don't need to get into the toy collecting either, but I want to know what were some of the Star Wars toys that you guys had. So, as always, hit me up. Let me know what you think, and I'll holler at you later. This your boy Black Makers, and I'm out. Peace.